Fuck Jimmy Dore. America's ungovernable. Ask for your money back. Hey, this is Joe Kopsick. It's December 18th, 2020. There's been a lot of commotion lately about Jimmy Dore patting himself on the back about, potentially maybe forcing a floor vote on Medicare for all to try to nudge Nancy Pelosi out of the speakership. And, frankly, who gives a damn who becomes Speaker of the House? Become like Brad Schneider or Mark Pocan or like AOC. Even if it's AOC, I mean, maybe that'd be okay. But remember, she's not a socialist. She believes in a mixed economy. I believe in a mixed economy too. But what the fuck does AOC know about, I guess she fucking majored in Constitution and economics, but does she have actual experience negotiating with Republicans who aren't neocons? No, she doesn't have any of that. She didn't answer any of what I emailed her to try to talk about, like libertarian issues, little libertarian socialist outreach. It's like, listen, the Democratic Party is and always has been the party of the Ku Klux Klan and the party of slavery and the party of centralized government and the idea that that means a top-down authority. Centralized government doesn't even have to mean necessarily a top-down authority, but that's what the Democrats have made it into. They used to be a classically liberal party in the 1890s, which was, it's kind of close to what it is today. Then kind of came back in the Kennedy days, and then again during Biden as neoliberalism. But yeah, remember, Democrats are a centrist or center-right party. That's what AOC is correct about. But here's the thing you got to know about Medicare for all and a national healthcare system and how to negotiate with libertarians and how to negotiate with Republicans who aren't war crazy, market rigging pieces of shit. You have to support specific policies that are fucking constitutional in the first place. Because if you put all your chips on something that's not constitutional, then you just end up wasting 10 years and trillions of dollars on it. I explained this in my previous ad, which was called Get a Damn Amendment. You're wasting the public's money. I mean, we spend, I don't even know how much Obamacare cost. $2 trillion? Was it $3 trillion? And how much are we spending on these bailouts? And the next bailout might not even have any bailout money. It's like Jimmy Dore's right to point that out. Okay, but only if that means okay, let's head to a permanent UBI system where the government gives us at least half of our fucking money back. Don't we deserve our money back from all the wars that they spend on? We have troops in 165 countries. I don't know if anyone knows that. Yeah, we're not out of the 7 wars that Obama started, but we are in 4 out of every 5 countries. And if you look at Obama to Bush to Trump, they have only changed the total number of countries by 2 or 3 or 5. There's been no variation. We've consistently occupied 4/5 of the world since 9/11. So, which was an inside job, by the way, that the Israelis participated in and used Saudis as a stooge. And now the Israelis have backdoors into all our surveillance equipment, and they're trafficking our fucking children. And Epstein and Maxwell, is there going to be a trial for this woman? No, she's going to settle out of court, or Trump's going to pardon her because he says he wishes her well. Or, so if you know the president, you can get away with murder, raping children, trafficking teenage girls, trafficking girls possibly as young as 8. If you look at the Jean-Luc Brunel to Epstein letter, 2 times 8, that's not a 16-year-old. So Epstein and Maxwell were involved with girls possibly as young as 8. If you believe the JonBenet Ramsey, Ghislaine Maxwell photograph possibility, then that's girls as young as 6. And that means that Maxwell potentially murdered JonBenet Ramsey and conspired with Prince Andrew to kill Princess Diana. Now, the surface of that information was coming out 10 years ago in British newspapers and tabloids, some of which were unbelievable. Now, I'm not saying fucking Bat Boy exists. I'm not saying Prince Charles is a fucking vampire. I'm just saying the British family thrives off the blood of children, either literally or figuratively. They thrive off the blood of innocents like Lady Diana, either literally or figuratively. And that fucking crash was staged as fuck by Prince Andrew. Princess Diana said before her death about the royal family, they're not human. That doesn't mean they're fucking lizards. She's saying they're inhumane, meaning probably a suggestion that they are pedophiles, that they are possibly connected with people who are, well, of course they were. Jimmy Savile, these people received knighthoods. I think it was Sir Jimmy Savile. And yeah, I keep trying to get back to Epstein and Maxwell were friends with the number one, number two, and number seven richest people in America. Well, Elon Musk is from South Africa, but he does some business in America. Jeff Bezos he had a book reading event, some kind of literary event with Ghislaine Maxwell a year or two ago, after he would have known who she was. And Bill Gates was investing in Jeffrey Epstein's friend's work. He had a scientist friend who was working at MIT Media Lab, and there is a photograph of Bill Gates and Epstein together, and they possibly flew on that Africa trip with Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, and Chris Tucker, possibly. And then, Elon Musk, there's a picture of him with Ghislaine Maxwell. So then there's Walmart people, Hillary Clinton was on the board of Walmart, and Michael Bloomberg, that's 8 of the top 13 billionaires, and, who are involved in just either market rigging or helping Israelis traffic our kids and make money off of it and spy on us and, have America do Israel's wars for it. So this has all come out. We all kind of knew it. Anyone who was slightly suspicious of the Obama administration, but was also critical of Israel, anyone who's like that and who is pro-peace knew about that 10 years ago. So I've been sounding the alarm for 10 years. The Social Security system is a child trafficking slavery system. It's the Social Security slavery system. You're paying taxes so that the government can collect information on you through the census, and they bribe you into being a census taker with the $22 an hour job. By the way, the federal minimum wage, that doesn't mean that everyone gets a raise. That means that the lowest paid federal worker gets a raise to whatever number they're saying. So it doesn't mean you. They don't care about you. The bailouts aren't going to include a check to you, or if they do, it's only going to be a $600 check to the people whose taxes were already paid last year, people who are already connected. Just like the big businesses get the handouts that the small businesses are only supposed to qualify for. Kanye West and the Catholic Church and Joel Osteen qualifying for money that you and I are supposed to get. Well, I don't want the fucking government making my money for me anymore. I probably forgot to finish a point in there or two, but fuck this shit. Yeah, look at Social Security titled 4D. Did you know that the child custody and alimony, the child support system is part of the Social Security system. It's a part of Social Security no one ever talks about. Social Security system title IV, that's Roman numeral 4-D. And that means that's whereby the federal government bribes the states to have the officers hunt down delinquent fathers who the state wants to, frame half the time. I mean, sometimes it's appropriate, but half the time they just want to frame these fathers with, neglect. It's like if you make a man spend all his money and time in court, he's not going to be able to afford to take care of his kids, much less leave court to go fucking take care. You got to show up at all the court appearances. So, and they do this to mothers too. They take kids away from parents for smoking weed. They find any excuse to take kids away from their parents. It's like, how dumb the fuck are you when you're like, first of all, when you're 17 and you're a man in the United States, they send your family, or you, if you're living by yourself, they send you a draft card. And it's like, you have to register for the draft. You have to pay a $175,000 fine, $125,000 fine if you don't register your son. Any good father would fucking take up arms against government if it did it to him. Draft has not been abolished yet. Draft registration is still going, and they're going to add women, everyone they can, the next chance they get. Don't forget that. Government big enough to give you everything you wanted is big enough to take it away from you. It's Barry Goldwater, or maybe his speechwriter, Karl Hess, the anarchist. He was trying to unite the old right that was anti-war and socially conservative with the new left that was anti-war and socially liberal. We need a progressive libertarian alliance. We need to put these Lindsey Grahams, these Chuck Schumers, these Nancy Pelosi's, New Democrat, neocon, neoliberal alliance type people, put them out of business. We need to give people trials in this country. We're not going to let people settle out of court. We're not going to let people become billionaires and while they're exploiting the environment and trafficking our children and raping them in front of us. Joe Biden pinching a girl's nipple in front of us. When's that going to be your kid? If you become a congressman, Joe Biden's going to be right there to pinch your child's fucking nipple and grind his dick against their back while you're being sworn in. I didn't say inaugurated, so I'm not as stupid as AOC. Got me, media? I'm fucking ready to take you on. Jimmy Dore is not going far enough. We want our money back. We're not going to put up with just Medicare for all because it's fucking unconstitutional in the first place. First of all, if you authorize a federal government takeover, it's like, yeah, it could be economically efficient as long as the health insurance companies don't find a way to take it over. And frankly, I don't know how that's going to happen. So what you could do is you could allow private insurance to exist, but not mandate it. You fucking idiot neoliberal Democrats. Don't force people to buy something that is made by the corporations. What the hell are you doing? You're just I was saying this 10 years ago, you're setting the precedent, 9 years ago, 2011. You're setting the precedent that government can make us buy anything. They can force us to buy anything. And you're like, what are you talking about? All they can do, they can't even make us buy a driver's license. Like, you can, shut the fuck up. They're taking our money through taxes. They're putting it on all kinds of subsidies and privileges for businesses and propping them up and giving them subsidies and bailouts and restructuring the big companies supposedly for the public's favor. No, it's to keep the illusion going, to keep the scam going, to keep the fucking pyramid going. It's an Illuminati slave pyramid. There's pedophile levels to it. There's corporate levels to it. There's war profiteer levels to it. This is on my blog. This is a real thing. This is the structure of your society. You're living in a caste system, and the children are at the bottom, and the old people and the working people are given temptation by the government to sell their literal children into slavery to the Social Security system so that they can have a good retirement, the old people and the working people, but the children get exposed to sexualized literature, sexualized music in the culture, sexualized literature at school, and just all kinds of propaganda that says it's okay to just get drunk and take advantage of someone, or at least that it's not wrong, because nothing's wrong, because there's 8 billion people, so that means there's 8 billion realities in the world, and everyone has their own reality. Well, excuse me, but when the fuck did the Democratic Party become more libertarian and more individualistic, but also more insane and pedophilic than the Libertarian Party at the same time? Did the libertarian message just work so well, but only on the Democratic leadership, that they just like, let's just throw all the morals out the window. Let's let kids become fucking child laborers. And let's let them be fucking exploited, and let's let softcore child pornography be on Netflix while the Obamas have a deal with Netflix. So your media is bought and controlled by the Israelis, which are not true Jews. It's a corruption of Judaism. Jewish morality and chastity, chasteness, which is not virginity. It's not abstaining from sex. Chastity is about not being fucking constantly sexual around people, not making people participate in your sex life when you're in public with them. That and the peaceful, freedom-loving, rebellious, true Judaism, those values are being ignored. I mean, rebelliousness for the sake of freedom. People are allowed to defend themselves against this garbage, including the Jews themselves. The Zionist media are trying to conflate this sexual immorality with the Jewish religion itself. And Bernie Sanders he told a classroom full of children that Jews are trying to be stereotyped, that there are people out there who are trying to stereotype Jews as sexually immoral. And yeah, I listened to nationalists, and they are saying, David Duke and E. Michael Jones are saying things like, yeah, Jewish pornographers dominated in the 70s. And people are like, yeah, those people are obviously fucking, Nazis who are saying this shit. But it's not false. But just because it's Jewish people doing it doesn't mean that it's the Jews, or it's just the fault of the religion of Judaism. Those things have nothing to do with each other. And the idea that they're inextricably linked, or that there's a whole lot of overlap, that is what is preventing a peace in Palestine, because too many people, basically Israel is using Judaism as a false flag. They're using it as a shield. They're using Jewish people who believe in the religion of Judaism, as basically cannon fodder, or as a shield. So people's criticism of the Israeli spying, the Israeli spies who have no God, who are raping our children and befriending billionaires and presidents so they can get away with it. And that the religion of Judaism, which is peaceful, they're being scapegoated. The Jews are being scapegoated, and people who are criticizing Israeli sex rings and operating in America with Ghislaine Maxwell's help and her paying $28.5 million as a settlement for, we don't even know how many children she's raped. She might have killed JonBenet Ramsey and Princess Diana, for fuck's sake. This woman is intent on destroying every innocent on this planet. What the fuck are we doing? I mean, the people who are saying, oh, Jimmy Dore, you need to focus on more things than Medicare for all. You need to be focusing on other things. It's like, how about we focus on all of it? How about we say, government, you're going to give us free health care. You're going to find out a way, whether through redistribution or free markets, we don't fucking care. And you're going to give us all our money back, and you're going to give us a UBI, and you're going to abolish the draft, and you're going to put Ghislaine Maxwell in prison for the rest of her life. And if Jeffrey Epstein's still out there, you're going to track him the fuck down. And the government says, oh, we'll do whatever you say, because we're threatening them with guns, which we're allowed to, 6 months before the Second Amendment was butchered when they cut it in half and took out the right of conscientious objection. So the right to bear arms used to be connected to our right to conscientious objection, but no one's talking about the draft. No one's talking about guns. Everyone's just talking about medicine, medicine, medicine. How are we going to get free medicine? Through the fucking free market. Through getting rid of the fucking government so it can't prop up these select few companies and keeping enforcing these patents. All they're doing is looking for new patented drugs. What about the pre-existing drugs that already exist that could solve coronavirus and alleviate COVID-19? What the fuck are we doing? We should demand it all, and then when the government says, we'll give it to you, please just don't kill us, we'll say, fuck you! We're chopping heads off like it's France. Like fucking Ghislaine Maxwell. You're born in France, you die in France. The United States is part of fucking France now, okay? We need to unite as one world against this global, Israeli-run child trafficking syndicate that's corrupting governments and is trying to use the peaceful, loving religion of Judaism, which has chastity and self-respect, is trying to make them take the blame for it. They're scapegoating them. They're scapegoating the innocent and the Jews and Princess Diana and JonBenet Ramsey. And don't tell me that Ghislaine Maxwell couldn't have abducted JonBenet Ramsey because Epstein and Trump hang around beauty pageants, teen beauty pageants, and it's not too fucking different from a child beauty pageant. Read the first sentence of the JonBenet ransom letter. It says we're part of a small foreign group. That's supposed to make you think Arabs or a Middle Eastern terrorist group. Well, what's a country in the Middle East? Israel. It has nothing to do with the Jews. It has to do with the caste system you're in and how much you've settled. What the fuck are we doing? You need to know some basic facts about your government. Andrew Yang's UBI would have given us $2.2 trillion a year to split up. That's out of the $4 trillion. You need to know basic facts. We're about $25 trillion in debt. We could pay that off in 25 years. There's ways to solve these problems. But if you keep begging instead of insisting, or if you keep rationalizing instead of empowering yourselves and others, and just begging, showing the government that, oh, I don't think this is going to work, but I'm going to ask for it anyway. Fucking scream in their face and demand it. Leave us the fuck alone. Stop telling us to go to work, when to go to work. I decide when I go to work. I decide when I go to my house. I decide what fucking clothes or what fucking things are on my fucking face. Because you don't get to tell me what to wear, and you don't get to strip any clothes off of me, and you're going to put a Star of David on my or a red triangle. You don't get to tell me how to fucking dress. Because this is America. Don't beg like a dog. Don't take Thanksgiving or Columbus Day as an opportunity to be thankful what you have. You don't have fucking nothing. Listen to Village Ghetto Land. You have a bunch of people who are telling you just need to beg harder and you're going to get the Speaker of the House you want and the Medicare for All. Well, if you get Medicare for All, what's that going to accomplish? Maybe you'll have a little better access to a doctor for a while until they find some way to take it away from you. Hey, maybe it should be temporary. I don't know. Maybe it should be permanent. If you want it to be permanent, get an amendment. But the point is, if you get that Medicare for All, it's just going to make you complacent and make you think you can negotiate with the government. You fucking can't. You're a slave. This government needs to be overthrown because they're all working with and for and making money for the Israeli child trafficking syndicate. And this started a long time ago. Ghislaine Maxwell has been trafficking kids since the mid to early 80s. They planned 9/11 sometime in the mid 70s. I've been listening for 10 years. Jimmy Dore doesn't know anything about the Constitution. Kyle Kulinski doesn't know how the Constitution works. He doesn't understand economics. Sam Seder doesn't understand how libertarians understand the world. He doesn't understand what true freedom is. These people are bullshit artists, and they only have half of the answer. I want to commend Jimmy Dore for how far he's come so far. I sound like an idiot, but the reins have got to be passed. The torch has got to be passed to a younger generation. I'm 33 years old. I've been calling this shit out since I was 23, and people are telling you, Joe, you hate black people because Obama's a president. You hate Jews because you're criticizing Rahm Emanuel, who everyone now in 2020 realized is a complete piece of shit and fucking actively covers up the murder of black people and murdered by cops in fucking Chicago. I knew all this! I fucking knew all this 10 years ago! You gaslit me! Keep watching my videos. I'll try not to yell. Keep going at these people. I know you have the energy. God bless.